Pokemon Go was a very special experience back when it first released in 2016. It's a game that you may have been playing recently, but probably not with the same cultural relevance that it once had. And that's really the crux of this video, the lost potential of Pokemon Go. Nothing lasts forever, and I'm sure that no matter what happened, its popularity would wane as it has. But the downfall of Pokemon Go's absolute phenomenal takeover of society could have been delayed if the game was handled a little bit differently. Some of you might be criticizing, saying that Pokemon Go is actually still very much a popular game with a very high active user base, and that is correct. For the last couple years, Pokemon Go has been steadily gaining player base and revenue, and it's definitely nothing to scoff at. It's still one of the top ranked mobile games out there. However, this does not quite indicate its fall from public view. Yes, the game's still doing well, very well, but it's not quite what it once was, and it never will be that again. For those of you who don't know, Pokemon Go is effectively an AR, alternative reality game, for the mobile phone that takes place in our world and puts Pokemon in there. That's sort of the sales pitch of the game. You can find Pokemon in the real world. Your Pokemon journey has begun. Most people had either heard or played a Pokemon. It is the most successful franchise in human history. And there's especially a fan of younger people. Perhaps they would play pretend Pokemon with their friends, or they would take their DSs out somewhere and trade with Pokemon. Or they used to play Pokemon as a kid, now they're older and they don't really have time for it, but they still remember them fondly. Whoever they were, whoever you were, you all had mobile phones in 2016, and so all of you could get Pokemon Go for free and suddenly relive the magic. You were able to catch all 151. Mewtwo was limited to an event, and I can't quite remember how you get Mew, but most of the time you'd be able to get the 151 original Kanto Pokemon. Your home, your world, your country, wherever you are, has a bunch of monuments or important locations, such as a water fountain or a school or some sort of statue. And if you would go there, you can collect some free Pokeballs, potions, berries to lure Pokemon in, that sort of thing. And then you can try and raise your own Pokemon by catching them, battling them against these towers or stations. There were these spots that you could capture, and you would leave a Pokemon there, and people would go over there and try to beat up the Pokemon and replace them. Point is, it effectively let you play Pokemon as if it was real, and you would carry your own Pokemon around you because they're on your phone. The trailers of the game showed things like trading with your friends, battling with your friends anywhere. Those features would come to the game eventually, but they were not there in 2016. At the same time though, everyone's assumption was that would surely come soon, so it wasn't too much of a problem. It's, alright, well, we'll play and they'll add that soon enough. How could they not? It's a fundamental part of Pokemon. Aside from the fact that it made the Pokemon dream real for so many people though, the other thing it did was a huge social shift, and I think it was a positive one whilst it went on. Pokemon Go gave people more of a reason to go outside, but also to interact with each other. If you found a rare Pokemon, you could tell someone about it. If you were seeing a bunch of people with their phones out going somewhere, you could make a reasonable assumption they're probably playing Pokemon Go, and 9 out of 10 times, you would be correct. Maybe you strike up a conversation, maybe you team up to chase a certain Pokemon, maybe you just chat about something completely unrelated. But Pokemon Go gave people reasons to be out there and interact and try to be friendly, because you never know if someone has some information you might benefit from. When you would place a lure to attract wild Pokemon to you, obviously other people could go next to you and also benefit from the lore. Same thing with those stationary spots where you could earn Pokeballs from. You could place those lures at those spots. Similar effect, people are going to gather and try and benefit from it. Something else the game would do is assign you 3 teams. I think it was Valor, Instinct, and something irrelevant because I don't remember what it was called, which I think was my team, so whoops. But anyway, you had teams you could pick. They didn't really do a whole lot except for give you a color. However, with those battle spots, teams would own them and capture them. So other team members from the other teams would try and fight and beat the Pokemon left there to put their Pokemon on top and capture it for their team. So there was a bit of tribalism going on, but it was all friendly competition, unless you were a weirdo who took it way too far. And it was a good time. And I remember that it would give you not only reasons to meet people outside and talk casually and whatever, explore, but you would perhaps interact with people that usually, even if you saw them every day, you just didn't have much of a reason to communicate with each other. So many cool interactions could be born from that. Yes, there were some downsides that came from that as well. For example, people breaking into places they shouldn't be, or getting hit by a car because they wanted to chase a Caterpie onto the road. Unfortunately, that sort of thing is going to happen when anything becomes such a huge social phenomenon. It's kind of unavoidable. But aside from those sorts of things, it was great. I remember going to a graveyard and seeing a bunch of people there, and we all knew why we were there. Why else were we going to be in the graveyard with our phones out? I remember that at the place I went to school, there was one of those gym battle towers stationed right by the school. So everyone in the school was always jostling for a position there to see whose team would be able to own it. It was just such a cool time. And I cannot overstate the fact that it was a very integrated part to society at the time of its release. There's a very, very funny moment where in American politics, I remember seeing Hillary Clinton during her presidential candidate talk about Pokemon Go. I'll show you it. Just take a look.
Creating new apps. I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
That happened. That was real. And it's funny to think about it now, but the reason that happened is because of how intensely ingrained, how sudden the takeover of Pokemon Go was. It really was, in a way, like the original Pokemon Mania phenomenon that took place, 10, 15 years before then. Who would have expected the same franchise to usher in something that large of a social scale twice in its lifespan? But Pokemon was able to do it with Pokemon Go. However, you've seen the title of this video. As I've alluded to, it didn't last. It never came back to that point. It faded, and it faded pretty fast as well. By the time of 2017, it would already be a shadow of itself. And whilst, yeah, that was an exceptionally bad year for Pokemon Go, the point is the damage was done. So what went wrong exactly? Well, as much as the game was fun and it appealed to many, many people's interest and imagination, it was not by any means a perfect game, especially at launch. It was buggy, it would crash, sometimes things just wouldn't work and there's no feedback, and you might have spent a resource that you wouldn't get back. It would also drain the living soul of your battery out in no time at all. In fact, mobile portable chargers, people who manufactured them, they were making bank back then because you needed it if you wanted to play for an extended period of time in the wilderness. They drained your phones dry. The trading and battling that we saw in the original trailer were not implemented for a long time, well after a lot of people gave up on the game entirely. Trading was even later than when they introduced battling. And by battling, I don't mean with the towers, I mean being able to go up to someone and actually battle them. These features came way later, too late. The Niantic development team spent way too long patching and adding to the game at launch, and it lost its users because of that. We were staying because we felt those things would be coming soon. They were shown to us in the first trailer. It's something called a Pokemon. You would expect to see it there. Yeah, the bugs would get annoying, but hey, the game's still fun, and when they add more content, it will hopefully get even better. But they didn't. The game sort of launched, and then it just existed in that state. And yeah, the communities and the society as a whole helped generate the hype and keep it going. But that would go away without support, and once it faded, it became more of a low-key sort of thing. Because even though Pokemon Go is still successful today, still making tons of money today, still getting more and more players yearly, you don't hear people talking about it. And that's because now it's just another mobile game. A successful mobile game, but it's just a mobile game. Whereas back then it was the game, and it wasn't just a game, it was part of life, and people openly would interact through that game and talk about that game. Again, you just saw the political conversation revolving around Pokemon Go. And that is its lost potential. It won't ever hit that point again. If it does, by all means, prove me wrong, I will not complain. But I don't think Pokemon Go will ever reach that level of recognition again. And it's a shame. If you were not part of that, then I don't know what to tell you. It's seemingly a once-in-a-lifetime sort of event, and I'm glad I was there. Very special to be a part of it, especially if you're a fan of Pokemon, but for anybody. So yeah, if you missed that, that is woefully unfortunate. Though, that's just my perspective on how Pokemon Go has played out and changed over time. I know that they've added all sorts of new Pokemon from the other generations, which would have been cool back in the day. And like I've said, I'm well aware it's still successful. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just not what it was. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. It really helps out my channel and lets me know that the video has engaged you somewhat. If you would like to see more of this content or have any other suggestions, then please let me know in the comments down below. I hope you have a great day, and to see you next time. This is the Mighty Emperor, signing off.